In this video, we're going to learn how to edit raw images in Adobe Lightroom from start to finish. We'll learn how to import images from your folder into Lightroom, basic image editing, how to use presets and versions, and how to rename and export final images into JPEG format. Let's start by importing our images from our folder into Adobe Lightroom. For that, let's click on the plus sign next to Add Photos. This will open up a navigation finder window. Find your images, select them, and click on Review for Import. These are the images that I've selected. Click on Add 11 photos in this case. And here they are imported into Adobe Lightroom. At this point, we want to create an album that will house these photos that we just imported. Make sure you select all the photos by clicking on Command A. And over here in the Albums tab, click on the plus sign and Create Album. Give the album a name and make sure that this checkbox is marked. Include the 11 selected photos and click on Create. Lightroom has just created an album for us, and here are their photos. There are multiple ways to view this album. Over here, we have several different view modes. The first one is the one we're looking at. And over here, we can enlarge the thumbnail or decrease the size of the thumbnail. Over here, we have basic adjustment sliders to control our image. This is a raw image, so you have a lot of latitude when it comes to adjustments. Let's play around with these sliders in order. The first one is exposure. How light or dark do you want to make this image after the capture? My exposure was correct at the time of capture, so I'm going to leave it at 0. We can increase the contrast slightly. We can increase or decrease the highlights. This will only affect the highlight areas of this image. We can open up the shadows or close them down. I'm going to close them down a little bit for added contrast. Then we have the white areas of the image. We can increase those a little bit. And the blacks can be decreased a little bit. Then we have the color sliders. The color temperature makes the image warmer or cooler. In an image like this, your choice is subjective. Go ahead and make a selection based on your preference. The tint is a hue adjustment that makes the image more magenta or more green. Vibrance makes the colors pop out a little bit more, and saturation saturates the image or desaturates the image. Down in the effect sliders, we're going to increase the texture a little bit. Very little bit of added clarity. Be very gentle with this slider. And that's all I'm going to do here. In order to view a before and after comparison of where we started and where we ended up, when you hold down the / key, it will toggle between the before and when you let go and after of your image. This is where we started and this is where we're at. At this point, I'm happy with the way that this image looks, but I do want to adjust this horizontal line to be straight. In the next tab, we have our crop tool. Click on it, and here we have a straighten slider. I'm going to drag it to the left until that horizontal line appears to be straight. I'm going to let go and double click into the image, and that will have recropped our image and straightened the image. I want to save the changes that I've made. Lightroom allows us to create multiple versions of the same image without duplicating the file. Let's see what that means. Come down to the Versions tab, click into it, and switch from Auto into Named. At this point, click on Create Version, name that version, and now you have this instance of your changes saved as a new version. This is the original, and this is the one we've just made. Let's go up to the Presets tab. Here we have a bunch of presets that Adobe has created for us. Let's navigate through them. Just by highlighting each preset, you can see what the effects of it would be. These can be a good starting point for a new edit. Let's find one that we like. This one looks interesting. I'm going to click into it. At this point, I'll go to the next slider set and make a few adjustments to it. Maybe decrease the highlights a little bit. I'm going to go down here and maybe open up that vignette, which is a bit too harsh. Go to the crop tab and straighten it up again. Click into it. Go to our presets tab and create another version. I'm going to call this Contrast 2. This is the one we created earlier. This is the one we just created now. And this is the original. You're starting to get the point, right? Each one of these is a completely different look that is created on top of the original image file without duplicating that file. Let's do this again. Go back to the preset and this time create a black and white version. I'll select the version of black and white that I like. I do like this version of the black and white preset, but I'd like to make some modifications to it. So I'll go back to the editing tab. And here, I just want to decrease the highlight a little bit. And I do want to increase the grain by quite a bit. A nice grainy black and white image. And that's it. Let's go back to the versions tab and create our final version. And I'm going to name it black and white. At this point, these are all the different versions we have. At this point, we want to export our file with all the changes we've edited into a final JPEG format. Let's click on the three dots and click on Export with these settings. The first thing we'll do here is rename the file using our naming conventions. We'll select Custom Name, and we'll give the file a name using our naming conventions, which should be your first name, dash, the name of the assignment. In this case, I'm just going to write BW for black and white, and another dash, and this will assign a number. Under Output Sharpening, we'll click None. Color space must be sRGB. We'll click on Export One Photo, and it's going to ask us, where would you like to export this image to? In this case, student work, and export. That's it. This file has been exported. Let's navigate to it to make sure it's there. Here's the file that we just exported. The name is as we set it, and when I preview it, that's the image with the changes that we've made to it. The file size is not too big, it's only 2.4 megapixels. Let's do this again using a different preset, maybe this one. So once again, click on the three dots, export with these settings. I'm going to give it a name, but instead of black and white, this will be color contrast. The rest of the settings are the same, and it memorized the previous export. Click on Export One Image, same location as before, export, and let's go back to that folder, and here is that file. So now we have this file and this file. Two different edits of the same image. Now that we're done with this image, let's just go back and see how this can be applied to a different image. We're going to click down here in our view mode and select this grid view. I'd like to see what kind of preset I could use for this image right here. I'm going to start with a preset tab and select one of the strong presets and preview different effects. These presets may remind you of filters on applications such as Instagram and Snapchat, but these are in fact much more powerful as they retain all of the color information captured from your camera's sensor and allow you a much greater deal of flexibility in your edit. These all look pretty cool. but I'm going to select this one. Maybe make some changes to it. Open up the exposure a tiny bit. Open up the blacks a little bit. And with color temperature, I'll go even cooler. I'll create an instance. And export this file into a JPEG as well. And here it is. And that's it. These files are now ready to be submitted into Schoology. Good luck and enjoy your edit.